Jake here for American Muscle, and we've got some big news out of Dodge this week, specifically the announcement of their all-new electric concept. Dodge's PR department has certainly been busy this week, dropping lots of big news from the upcoming Hornet compact crossover with that revamped Goes Like Hell trim, plus the return of the Durango Hellcat, and of course the last call of the current Charger and Challenger. But the biggest news came last night, coinciding with the kickoff of this year's Woodward Dream Cruise, and it came in the form of the Charger Daytona SRT concept that points to the brand's electrified, or as they're calling it, the e-muscle future. And that future, based on everything we're seeing so far, seems to be pretty bright, even for those of us who are going to bemoan the death of the V8 engine, because Dodge has included some really cool old school styling and two huge items that have never been seen before on an electric car from a mainstream manufacturer: a shiftable transmission and an exhaust. Many of us have been waiting and speculating to see what Dodge was going to do for the future, with universal electrification looming greater and greater on the horizon, and the impending death of V8s like that Hellcat engine. Dodge was in kind of a weird spot. The Challenger and Charger are due for a major update anyway, and with tightening CAFE regulations also coming down the pipeline, the obvious way to go was to push toward electrification. There's been a lot of speculation as to what exactly Dodge was going to do, especially since the announcement earlier this week came that 2023 will be the last model year for the Charger and Challenger as we know them. But we'd heard no official word on their replacements until last night. Now, this is the first push of Dodge's new e-muscle initiative, and it features an all-new 800-volt electric drivetrain that they've dubbed Banshee. No word yet on battery size or capacity, or even on range or power or charging, but we do know that the concept presented is all-wheel drive, which means it's presumably going to have at least two motors on board, and knowing Dodge, however many there are, they're going to be substantial. Now, you could almost call this car revolutionary, since we haven't seen anything like the Charger Daytona SRT concept from a mainstream manufacturer before. Though some of this might seem far-fetched, CEO Tim Kacinskis assured the automotive press that these technologies highlighted on the concept are intended to be production ready when the real thing hits showrooms, and that, quote, "This exists because performance made us do it." Seems like Dodge hasn't lost their way, and a lot of this stuff is already patent pending too, so fingers crossed that it's going to translate to the production model. Before we dive into some of the technical details, I want to talk about the styling because I think this thing just looks awesome. Up front, you've got something they're calling the R-Wing. Now, this is inspired by the original Charger Daytona, and it's an aerodynamic pass-through that allows air to flow through the front end and over the hood while still maintaining that square-jawed, blunt front end that's characteristic of Dodge muscle cars. As you can see from the pictures, it's essentially an integrated wing, and it drops down part of the front of the hood, if you will, and allowing that air to pass through. You also get an integrated light bar up front with the revived Fratzog badge front and center. Now, some of you might have recognized this symbol already because it was previously featured on Dodge's muscle cars in the 60s and 70s. It didn't have any real meaning or context back then, just used to denote the performance models. But Dodge has said that this is going to be the symbol of the electrified future the company is pushing towards from here on out. On the fenders, you might have also noticed there's a different new badge that they've called the Screaming Banshee to replace the Hellcat and others. Now, back, you've got two integrated big flying buttresses to elongate the look of the rear end, and also probably to help mask the fact that the concept is actually a hatchback, which I think is really cool because you get a lot of added practicality here, plus you keep those cool looks. Now, those buttresses are an homage to the famous 68 Charger, and then you've also got what is probably my favorite part, that full-width light bar in the rear. Again, you get the Fratzog badge in the middle, and I really love this design element because it seems like it's giving a nod to the 67 Barracuda. And that car is absolutely what you would call a style icon. I think it really translates well to this, and I'm excited to see them bring this back. There's also another first for mainstream battery electrics in the form of the eRupt multi-speed transmission. Now, unlike most other electrics out there that use a direct drive, single speed setup, Dodge has come up with a multi-speed transmission with electromechanical shifting. Now, it's said to deliver noticeable shift points, so noticeable in fact that you could get thrown back into your seat with each shift. No word on how many ratios yet or exactly how the shifting is going to work. They're saying it's still patent pending, but if there's a way to get more engagement, I don't think that's anything bad in the world of EVs. The car also features a power shot that's going to deliver a temporary dose of extra horsepower for quicker acceleration, and that's activated by a big button on the steering wheel. But the biggest news, and the thing that's got everybody talking, is that exhaust. That's That's right, this thing has an exhaust. Obviously, it's not a traditional exhaust since there's no need to evacuate noxious fumes from an engine, but whereas most EVs are focused on being as quiet as possible, that just wasn't gonna fly for Dodge. Let's be honest, they're known for making noise. They call this the Fratzonic chambered exhaust, and it embraces the Dodge tradition of turning the volume all the way up to 11. Now they're saying that it can produce up to 126 decibels of noise, and that matches the outgoing Hellcat sound at wide open throttle. So this uses an amplifier and a tuning chamber to push a unique performance sound out through the back of the car, and it creates something that's totally different than anything we've heard before. Now, if you've watched any reviews or if you've driven a Mustang Mach-E GT, you've heard they have sort of what some have called a digital V8 noise, but it's piped into the cabin. This is outside of the car. Could be described as part digital V8, part Jetsons, part I don't even know what. But whatever it is, it's definitely got an attitude. It is certainly something very unique, and I do wonder how that's going to go over. Dodge also says that the sound is controlled by the application of the accelerator pedal, speed, and a few other parameters, hence that revving that you can hear in the clip. So between that and the eRupt transmission, if Dodge can bring this thing to market as they presented it here, there's not going to be anything else like it, and it's sure to make for a unique driving experience. I, for one, am really excited to try it when the time comes, and I am a die-hard internal combustion fan. And if this thing drives as good as it looks and as cool as it sounds, I think we got a bright future ahead of us. Because if this kind of thing is the future of electric performance cars, even I can get on board with that. But that's just my opinion. So what do you all think about this? This is a totally fresh, new take on an electric car, but are you ready for an e-muscle car? Let us know in the comments below. That's all we've got for now on the Dodge Charger Daytona SRT concept. We'll keep you updated if we get some more information. For now, sit tight, don't fear that electric onslaught, because I think we're gonna have a pretty cool future ahead of us. And if you like what we're doing here, please be sure to like and subscribe to the video. We've got a whole lot more stuff coming soon. I'm Jake for AmericanMuscle.com. Keep the rubber on the ground, and I'll see you next time.